the pink city Jaipur, in the desert state Rajasthan. Just 250 kilometers from the Indian capital, New Delhi, and a permanent fixture on most tourist itineraries. They say it's a trip well worth the effort for its historical monuments, colorful markets, and vibrant culture. Unseen by most, though, are the special visitors who arrive from various corners of the country in search of something more than the usual tourist fare. It weighs roughly a kilo, costs less than $30, and promises to change lives forever. This artificial limb, which has added the city of its birth to its name, is admired by orthopedics around the world. But unlike many other artificial limbs, it was not developed by medical professionals alone. In fact, like many things Rajasthani, it took an artist's touch. In an area called Imli Fatak in Jaipur sits 82-year-old Ramchandar, finishing his latest sculpture. His eyesight may not be all that good, but his skilled hands don't seem to need any guidance. Even 40 years ago, his skill at capturing the human form was legendary.
हम जो है मूर्तिकार है, समझ मूर्ति बनाते हैं तो उसका जो है हमको ये मालूम रहता है कि कौन सा पार्ट कहाँ तक और कितना होता है। आप मुझे अपने एक नाक की नाप दे दीजिए, मैं आपकी सारी बॉडी की नाप निकाल दूंगा।
Not far away from Ramchandar, an eminent orthopedic surgeon at the government hospital in Jaipur was grappling with a problem of his own.
Initially, we were fitting limbs which were based on designs evolved in the West. But then we found that the patient acceptance was unexpectedly poor. That I would encounter a number of patients on the streets where they had been provided with a limb, but they were not using crutches. And on questioning them, it emerged that fitting an artificial limb is not a simple biomechanical problem. It is a problem which involves the entire lifestyle and culture of the people, which in our context meant that they should be able to walk barefoot, then the foot should look like a foot, they should be able to squat on the floor, sit cross-legged on the floor, walk on uneven terrain.
As chance would have it, sculptor Ramchandar was visiting the government hospital at around the same time.
मुझे पोलियो के बच्चों को काम सिखाने के लिए बुलाया था, मगर मेरे पड़ोस में जहाँ मुझे कमरा दिया गया तो उसके पड़ोस के अंदर एक छोटा सा वर्कशॉप था, उसमें वेस्टर्न डिजाइन के पाँव बनते थे। उन पाँव को देख करके मुझे ऐसा लगता था क्यों नहीं पाँव जैसा पाँव बना जाए, क्योंकि मूर्तिकार तो मैं था ही, ऐसा मूर्ति तो मैं बनाता ही था। तो ये सोच करके फिर मेरा आइडिया उसी वक्त से चालू हुआ कि एक पाँव जैसा पाँव बनाया जाए।
Dr. Sethi, who was already working with Rajasthani craftspeople on local versions of the Western design foot, welcomed the idea.
To them, this was a work which involved them emotionally. So they would make a limb and try to make it as an object of art. They belonged to a social class to which the patient also belonged to that. So they were able to relate to each other, talk to each other. There was a lot of empathy.
Chandar began to observe patients using prosthesis. He understood that the key to creating an artificial foot suitable for Indian conditions was to use more flexible materials. He tried many, from aluminium to sponge, before the ideal material presented itself.
रबड़ का ऐसा था कि पाँव जैसा पाँव बनाया जाए तो वो किस चीज़ का बनाया जाए और कैसा और मजबूत कैसा चले, ये आइडिया ये सोच करके हमने सोचा कि भाई कैसे बने। तो हमने सोचा कि टायर जो होता मोटर का वो बड़ा मजबूत होता और बहुत भारी वजन भी लेके चलता है, लचीला भी होता। तो मैं एक रोज़ एक साइकिल की दुकान पे गया हुआ था अपनी साइकिल को ठीक कराने के, पंचर ठीक करा। तो वो एक बड़े टायर के पंच लगा रहा था, कट जो लगा हुआ था उसके अंदर वो डाई से लगा, डाई में बनाता हूँ ऐसा। तो मैंने उससे कहा भाई हम जो है तुमको डाई बना देते तो ये बता दो कि इसमें कौन सा रबड़ कैसे कैसे काम में लिया। उसने हमारी मदद की, उसने हमको ये बता दिया कि ये रबड़ इस तरह से इसमें डालो और इस तरह से गर्म करके इसे पकड़ लो।
And so, the Jaipur foot was born in 1968, a combination of common sense and uncommon craftsmanship. In village Khairwal, 45 kilometers from Jaipur, lives 80-year-old Ram Swaroop. He was 46 when he lost his legs in an accident and was amongst the first to try the Jaipur foot in 1970.
लूंगर में गया पत्थर लेने, पत्थर लेने के बाद एक गाड़ी में लद गया। गाड़ी में लदता ही कि गाड़ी वालों बाटा छोड़ दिया तो वो कट गया बिल्कुल ही। फिर ने वहाँ से गाड़ी वाला मोटा पहुँचा दिया जयपुर। जयपुर जा और फिर 6 बजे 2 बजे भर्ती होगा। फिर 2 बजे 6 बजे ऑपरेशन हुई हो। जब मार साहब को था ना यह मान लेती तो बिल्कुल इन्हें उठा दिया। और भी बालू और कुकुड़ी बालू और क्या नाम से क्यारी दौरा कर लूँ, 5 कर लूँ।
Ram Swaroop was not alone. The Jaipur foot allowed amputees to live a typical Indian life, doing the things they'd always done. And yet, in the first 7 years since its invention, only 50 people came forward to use it. Something was not quite right. One young man who was working for the government in Jaipur in 1975 thought he could fix it. But even he could not have known that Bhagwan Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti, the charitable organization he set up to manage Jaipur foot operations, would one day be valued at $600 million by an international management expert.